Right everyone, buckle up. It's that time again where we delve into the dumpster fire of US immigration policy, because apparently we haven't learned our lesson about letting things fester. Today's target? The EB-3 visa program. And because the universe just loves a good dose of irony, we're looking at what might happen if, God forbid, a certain someone makes it back into the Oval Office in 2025. Welcome to our deep dive into the future of EB-3 visas under a potential Trump administration in 2025. Now I know what you're thinking, haven't we suffered enough? And to that I say, you clearly underestimate America's ability to step on a rake repeatedly. Let's explore the possible changes and challenges that could shape the landscape for EB-3 visa applicants, because knowing what's coming is half the battle, or at least a quarter, depending on how many curveballs Congress decides to throw. Look, we all know the man loves a good wall, but what's less exciting, and therefore less interesting to him, is the nuanced reality of immigration policy. So, instead of grappling with those complexities, what's more likely to happen is a good old-fashioned tightening of the screws. Think stricter visa requirements, fewer visas to go around, and entire professions suddenly finding themselves on the outside looking in. It's the bureaucratic equivalent of slamming the door shut and hoping for the best. And who loses out the most? You guessed it, those in lower-skilled jobs, the ones we rely on every day, the ones who keep the gears of this country turning, they're the ones who'll be left scrambling. Because apparently the only thing harder than getting into America is doing it without a fancy degree and a six-figure salary. Remember the public charge rule, that lovely little policy that basically said if you weren't rich before coming to America, you better start practicing your best Scrooge impersonation? Well, dust off your top hats and monocles, folks, because it might be making a comeback. See, the idea behind this rule was to make sure immigrants wouldn't, God forbid, use public resources. Never mind that studies have shown immigrants contribute more in taxes than they take in benefits. But hey, who needs facts when you can have fear-mongering, right? So, lower-income EB-3 applicants, those who might need a little help getting on their feet, they're back in the crosshairs, and for what? To appease a base that seems to think America is a zero-sum game where someone else's gain is automatically their loss? Let's talk about backlogs, shall we? Imagine this. You've done everything right. You've jumped through every hoop, filled out every form, in triplicate naturally, and paid every fee. You've basically become a walking, talking embodiment of bureaucratic compliance. And your reward, you get to wait, and wait, and wait some more. See, the system was already backed up like a clogged artery before, but throw in policy changes, increased scrutiny, and a dash of good old-fashioned administrative chaos, and you've got yourself a recipe for a backlog party. And guess who's stuck with the lousy invitations? Yep, those from high-demand countries like India and China. They're the ones left staring down the barrel of wait times that would make even the most patient person question their life choices. Chapter 4, Merit-Based, because immigration should be like applying to Harvard. Ah, merit-based immigration sounds lovely, doesn't it? Like a system where the best and brightest rise to the top, a true meritocracy of opportunity. Except, and here's the kicker, whose definition of merit are we using exactly? Because spoiler alert, it's probably not the one that prioritizes compassion, diversity, or the contributions of those who might not have a PhD but can build a house with their bare hands. No, under this potential future, the EB-3 process could become a cutthroat competition, where those with advanced degrees and high salaries get the golden ticket, while others are left wondering if their skills and experience even count for anything anymore. It's a system that risks turning the American dream into a game of privilege roulette. Chapter 5, Employer Scrutiny, because trusting businesses is so last decade. Now let's talk about employers, those poor, unsuspecting souls who just want to hire qualified people. Well, get ready for a whole new level of scrutiny, folks. We're talking increased audits, stricter regulations on those labor condition applications, and enough paperwork to make a bureaucrat blush. The goal? To make sure companies aren't, heaven forbid, hiring foreign workers if they could find an American to do the job. Never mind that the whole point of the EB-3 program is to fill labor shortages in fields where qualified Americans are in short supply. The unintended consequence? Employers might just say screw it and decide it's not worth the hassle, leaving both American businesses and foreign workers in the lurch. Chapter 6, Legal Limbo, because America loves a good lawsuit. Now let's not forget the cherry on top of this bureaucratic Sunday legal challenges, because what's the point of implementing sweeping policy changes if you can't drag them through the court system for a few years, right? So, while the fate of the EB-3 program hangs in the balance, expect a flurry of lawsuits, injunctions, and legal back and forths that will leave everyone involved wondering if they need a law degree just to understand what's going on. The result? Delays, uncertainty, and a whole lot of frustration for applicants who are just trying to build a life for themselves. It's enough to make you want to scream into the void, or, write a strongly worded letter to your congressman, whichever feels more therapeutic. Chapter 7. The economy's whims. Because nothing says stability like unpredictability. And finally, let's not forget the wild card in all of this, the economy. Because as much as politicians like to pretend they have their finger on the pulse of the markets, the truth is the economy has a mind of its own, and when it comes to immigration, that can be a very scary thing. See, if the economy takes a nosedive, expect the demand for EB-3 visas to plummet faster than a lead balloon. Suddenly those labor shortages everyone was so worried about, poof, gone. And with them go the opportunities for foreign workers to come to America. It's a stark reminder that even if you navigate the labyrinthine bureaucracy, even if you manage to jump through every hoop and hurdle, the rug can still be pulled out from under you. Outrow the uncertain future of the American dream. So, there you have it, folks, a glimpse into the potential future of the EB-3 visa program under a hypothetical second Trump administration. It's a future fraught with uncertainty, increased restrictions, and a healthy dose of bureaucratic chaos. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor these potential changes and their impacts on the EB-3 visa process. Because whether you're a prospective applicant, an employer, or just someone who cares about the future of this country, these issues matter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates on immigration policies. And remember, in the words of the great American philosopher Yogi Berra, the future ain't what it used to be.